Hi guys, it's Jay from MMA Mental's Early Stoppage. I am here today with Joe Calderwood. Thank you so much for your time, Joe. Before I get into all that news that you've been in, how are you? Is everything okay up in Scotland?
Yeah, it's brilliant up here apart from the weather.
Yeah.
All the shitty Scottish weather, but
I mean,
we're getting there.
we had snow a couple of weeks, but over the April. But has it been snowing up there?
No, we had it at the same kind of time the week before you guys had it, but it's just kind of like we get the sun for a few days and then think, yeah, that's the summer here, and then the next day it's raining.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I take it it's not coming in.
We've got the exact same thing over here. I guess it's countrywide. But speaking about a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you had that fight with Sally Crumdiak up in Scotland. On paper, this was going to be a good fight, but you beat her without even breaking a sweat. Did you expect to get the victory so easily?
I was just expecting that I was going to go in there, get the win, whether it was like in the first round, second round, third round, because like I always look at fights. You just don't know what's going to happen, so you kind of have to expect everything. You have to expect you winning by submission, winning by TKO, winning by points, a hard fight, an easy fight. But I definitely didn't think it would. I've kind of seen it more when I was thinking about it and stuff. I've seen it more going to a fight, like maybe a decision.
Yes. I think when you look at both of your records on paper, she had never been finished, but you finished her within the first round. Just how hard were those uppercuts? It looked like you didn't even hit her with your strongest shot.
Yeah, and I was on the back foot as well, which is pretty cool. I think she's been stopped. She's been TKO'd once before. So yeah, it's always good because if you do look at her record and stuff, and not even her record, the people that she's been in with is pretty impressive.
She's well, you're only what 6-0 now, and she's fought a lot. I think that was her 14th or 15th fight. So
yeah, she
is more experienced. But man, you made it look like you were the professional going into that one.
Yeah, I just like everything I'm doing is like I'm training like this is my job. Like I'm taking this for very serious, and I just think that I need to show that when I'm in the cage.
Well, you've been in the media on the MMA sites a lot in the last month or so, as you extended the first piece of news anyway is that you extended your contract. You're now on a 6-fight contract with Invicta, and that is just incredible. How are you feeling with the organisation?
Oh, it's awesome. Like when they asked me, like I had still had another fight with them anyway because I had signed a 3-fight deal with them. But then they asked me if they said that they wanted to extend the contract, and like obviously I was over the moon because my first 2 experiences with them, it's just been really, really. Like they're a great organisation and they're doing awesome things for us. And the other thing is that outside of Invicta, like there's been a few promotions trying to fight, and they've struggled to get me a fight. And I was quite lucky with Cage Warriors finding Sally and her agreeing to it and stuff. But with Invicta, they've got a lot of 115ers, so I'm always going to get a fight there because they've got the other 115s and they're contracted to Invicta, so like I'll always have a fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, their organisation is going very strongly. As you mentioned, opponents and contracts and everything. The other big news story, I think it was this week, is that you will be fighting the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Claudia Galdea in July. What was your initial reaction to that fight?
My manager, we've got a few names like in the run up to my last fight for Cage Warriors, but like I wasn't seeing past Sally. So once that fight was finished, and then I think it was the Monday or the Tuesday, my manager, James, told me that this is your opponent, and once we got the contract signed and stuff, I'm just pleased to fight anyone really, like whether it's a Brazilian black belt, whether it's a stand-up girl, or whether it's the best MMA fighter in the world. Like, I'm just glad to have my next fight confirmed, so that now that after like I've fought Sally and stuff, now I'll be focusing on that. So I'm looking forward to the fight, and it'll be a new, like she's a different fighter to the rest of the girls that I've fought, so I'm looking forward to facing a new challenge.
It should be a good fun fight. She's undefeated like yourself, which makes for it very interesting. Are you prepared for a grappling-based match then, or are you gonna? How do you see the fight going?
I've not really thought about the fight so far, but like I'm happy on the ground as well. Like, just I've not really been able to showcase that yet. But whether it's this fight or in future, then I'll definitely be ready to showcase that I've got jiu-jitsu skills, and like I'm not going into any of these MMA fights just on my strength of stand-up. Like, I'm well-rounded.
Well, you've shown it in multiple of your fights as well, and you've just been very exciting to watch, as we said earlier, with your last fight where you showed your technical striking. You didn't even need the power. But women's MMA is advancing very, very quickly with the UFC. We heard from Dana that he's going to he's interested in extending the women's divisions. My favourite division is the strawweight division with yourself, Jessica Aguilar. However, I feel your division is reliant on the success of the 125-pound division, the flyweights, as I feel the UFC wouldn't just skip one weight class. So what's your feelings on the future of your division? Do you feel that the 125 division has to stack up before the strawweight division can progress?
Yeah, because if you look at the number of girls that are in the 125 and then compared to 115, it just depends what, like, the UFC, like, I don't think that they don't have to go straight to 125. They could do the 115. I don't know how they'll play it, but right now I'm just like focusing on being at Invicta and enjoying my experience there. And if UFC does come along, then obviously it would be a great opportunity for myself and my gym. But I don't know, like, whether they will come straight down to 115. But I would say I've still got another decade in me at least. So if it doesn't come around for a few years, I think I'll still be about.
Yeah, I mean, it's all expanded very quickly as well, and of course you've only been fighting for 3 years. You're only 26. Your career has still got a long way to go. But do you know of any girls that you know who are bulking up or trying to get into the higher weight class divisions? Do you know of anybody yourself?
Yeah, I was actually training with Rosie Sexton on Friday night. I was down in Liverpool training next gen with her because I was down for a wedding, and like sometimes Rosie comes up she's got a good relationship with the Dinky Ninja fight team, so I get to train a lot with Rosie. So I was down on Friday, and obviously she's got her fight coming up in 8 weeks, and she's usually fighting at 125, and she's went up to 135 for this fight at the UFC. So like a few people have said to me, "Oh, why do you not go up and stuff?" But that's like, I don't even walk around about that. Yeah. About 135, so it would be no, like, I would rather go on. I'm a great believer in, like, what's for you won't go by you, so obviously it would be silly for me to go in with these American girls that are like cutting £10 on the day, whereas I would be like trying to put on £10 that day on the weigh-in day, so it would be pretty silly.
You'd have to put like stones in your pockets and stuff like that, and go out there soaking wet with a brick in your pocket or something like that. But Rosie Sexton, yeah, you mentioned her. She's well, especially for Britain, she is also one of the best 125er, definitely 125 women. She's incredible. What's your feelings about Rosie Sexton? You've trained with her yourself. What's your thoughts on her?
I think she's a great person and a great fighter, and I think that because she's been around for like since it kind of started, and I feel sorry for her that she started in the MMA world like back when she did, because if like you see how like women that's got more popular and stuff, whereas when she was starting off, it was like she was having to fight above her weight and like fight maybe like once a year and stuff, and I would hate that. And I feel terrible that she had to kind of start off like that, whereas like I've come in and like my first year I got to fight 5 times, and just that I think I'm so glad that she's got the opportunity to fight at UFC, and I think she'll have a great time, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the one advantage that she's coming now into she's coming to the peak of her career, and she might end up fighting for a championship and things, and so she's kind of the other end of the spectrum, and it's interesting to see that. How often have you trained with her?
I've probably had about maybe 7 sessions with her.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to know that you're getting the training in with, probably the only girl in Britain that's better than you're getting to train with. So
yeah, it is awesome, and because like I'm always coming up against like the better wrestler and the better grappler, and then Rosie's like sometimes facing a good striker, so it's kind of worked out well that I can get to spar with someone that's an awesome wrestler and great on the ground, and then like vice versa, she can like use my striking to, and we can kind of it works out well. It works out well.
Yeah, the steel. I think it's steel on steel. I can't remember. It's steel's sharpened steel. I think it's that. But there is one topic I've got to talk to you about since I got the opportunity. I felt so ashamed when not only did I saw it, but when I heard it. That was when Miesha Tate came out at the last fight and she had a boob job. I thought that was a disgrace to not just women's MMA, but to MMA, as we still get things like ring girls, and that's very sexist and things. She felt the need to make her sex appeal more attractive with a boob job. Did you hear about this? What was your opinion?
No, this is the first time I've heard about it, but to be honest, I don't really keep up to date with other fighters or kind of read up in the news and stuff, but that's pretty funny.
I was just
no, I see that. Sorry.
You go.
I see these girls that my opponent. The guys were saying that they googled her and the images are coming up with her in a bikini and stuff, and I've seen other girl fighters doing it and stuff, and I just don't see the need for it, really.
Me neither. Like I said, I thought I was ashamed of the fact that they're trying to please someone, but I wouldn't ever see. I think it's harmful for the weight class, and it's harmful for the sport. I mean, you've got extra weight hanging off you. You wouldn't see that ever happen in the men's division. You wouldn't see them, giving themselves a fake 6-pack. So why the women feel to do it? It was.
Yeah, unless it's just something that she's how some girls just want to get a boob job, so I don't know, like maybe this has just been her thing that she's wanted, but it's it's crazy.
It is crazy. But something else that's quite interesting about your career is that I know that you've been fighting out of Kansas because it's in it for Invicta. Glasgow will always be a home. I mean, you fought in India, Kansas, and Glasgow in MMA. For Muay Thai, correct me if I'm wrong, but you fought in places like Poland and Thailand. Where does Kansas rank?
Kansas is awesome. Like, it's pretty quiet. Like, I was quite shocked when I got there because it's like loads of buildings and massive buildings, and then there's like not a lot of people. But then if you go out on a Saturday night, it's like crazy busy. But I like how it's quiet, and when we went, it was pretty cold. So I've heard in July it's really hot. Like apparently you can fry an egg on the street. So I'm looking forward to going back when it's warm. Because obviously when we were there was a wee bit of snow and stuff. But we're used to that anyway. But it'll be good to go to Kansas and be warm and stuff. So, but as a town and stuff, I think it's awesome, and everything like that you need for when you go away. Because sometimes when you go away if you're fighting and stuff after a weigh-in and stuff, it's really hard to find somewhere good to eat, and usually it's all like fast food places. So in Kansas there's like a really good kind of Whole Foods place that now that we've been there and stuff, we know it like off by heart, and we're always going there, and it's just really handy for after your weigh-ins and stuff. But when I go away and stuff, it's just really, I just have my sleeping bag, and anywhere I could sleep anywhere as long as I've got my sleeping bag. It doesn't really matter. But Kansas is pretty cool.
Sounds brilliant. I've got to ask, what were places like when you mentioned the food? What were India and Thailand like to try and get food after the fight? Even Poland, that might have been quite difficult.
Thailand and India was actually pretty good because we were in a hotel that we were in the Hilton, and we didn't really go out. They had put on the food. It was like a kind of restaurant in the hotel. So, but everybody said, "Oh, you'll get the Delhi belly and stuff," because we were going to New Delhi. But if you're smart with your food and stuff, and obviously I wasn't caring after my fight, but I took a lot of my stuff with me that I knew I wouldn't be able to get over in India and Thailand. So if you're smart and stuff and you're prepared, it's pretty easy.
Well, yeah, it does. It must be quite difficult, especially in America. I mean, after the fight, you can go to every fast food place you can see, but before a fight, it must be difficult. But I was quite surprised by the India. I think I don't know how, because there's of course the language barrier. But I guess if you're at the Hilton, it's all good.
Actually, like between compared to Thailand, like India, their second language is English, so it was actually easier in India than Thailand, because Thailand's pretty the Thai language is. Have you ever heard that? It's like so hard to learn. Like a few of the guys that I went with, they were learning Thai and stuff, and I struggle with my language. As you probably can tell with this interview and stuff, and my other interviews that I've done. So it's pretty mad. But yeah, so India, their second language is English, so it was easier communicating with them and stuff. So if you needed to explain like that you're on a diet and stuff, which in America they just don't understand, like that you can't have any extra butter, or you can't take sugar, you can't take cream, stuff. They look at you as if you're crazy.
I will ask this one last question before I go. I've got to ask it because you've brought up languages and everything. How have the Americans reacted to your Scottish Scottish accent. Have you had any funny stories or anything?
Turns out like everyone I speak to in America has got someone that's in the family Scottish or Irish. And they always like their language and stuff, and whenever even if you're in the lift and stuff and you're speaking to whoever you're with or that, they always go, "Oh, you're from Ireland? No. Are you from England? No. Oh, where are you from?" And then you have to explain Scotland, and then they're like, "Oh, I love your accent," and then they'll say, "Oh, my great granny or whatever is from Scotland or Ireland or whatever." It's pretty funny.
I guess that's because of the Irish immigrants and all that back in the days.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you've got the fight coming up on July the 13th in Kansas. The card is headlined by Coonan versus Cyborg. You're fighting Claudia Galdea. Have you got, I know that people can get you on the Twitter and things. Have you got anybody you'd like to thank? Tell people your Twitter handle. I know you've got a Facebook page. Just this is your chance to give as many shout outs as you can. Go for it.
You can get me on Facebook at Joanne Calderwood. I'm currently looking for some new sponsorships for my next 6 fights at Invicta. It's a really good opportunity for companies, especially companies out in America, but there's like 2 million people that watch the stream and it's streamed live, so get on the JoJo bandwagon and help me out.
Well,
thanks for the interview.
It's no problem at all on my behalf. You're gonna, if you continue fighting in Invicta, I have no doubt that you're gonna make that 12-0. So I hope you can get some sponsors because it really is a fantastic opportunity for all of them. But thank you very much for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's okay. I think your Twitter handle is something like @badmofo.
@badmofo _JoJo.
That's the one.
Or underline, yeah.
I will tweet you out this link as soon as it's up. But thank you very much, and hopefully once you've beaten some people in Kansas, we can get you back on.
Yeah, that would be great.
Brilliant. Thanks for everything, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.